This video covers all the configuration options available in the Custom AI Chatbot plugin. So here's the actual web page I use for my chatbot using the plugin. And the first thing you're going to do is if you go to Settings, you'll see Settings for Custom AI Chatbot. That's where you store your API keys for Pinecone and OpenAI. I'm not going to show you that. It's just two fields because I don't want you to see my API keys. But the reason they're stored in the overall plugin settings is that makes them secure. So hackers are not going to be able to see those API keys and use them to access at your cost Pinecone and OpenAI. All right, so if you actually go to the plugin here on my edit page, you click on it, you have the block settings. Now the plugin's going to automatically use your theme's general formatting definitions. But then under display settings, there are some custom things you can do, like container width. I make it 200, right? I don't like that. I'm going to put it back to 800. The chat history height, again, you can customize that. The message bubble width, that's when you get the responses. You'll see that here. The bot name, so you can get a response on the bot here. It says bot. You can call that whatever you want. Give it the label, different label. The input placeholder. Type your question here. You can say, what do you want? Right? Again, the label for send could be transmit, whatever you want to customize it to. The no quality match response, so that's when somebody asks a question and you don't have the data in your custom AI database, your RAG model doesn't have an answer for that. You don't want to submit that question over to OpenAI or else it will answer it based on its general library. So you want to give the user a response that, hey, for this example here, I was playing around, I need a recipe for eggnog. It's going to come back and say, I'm sorry, I don't have any specific information on that topic and don't want to speculate. You can customize that message to say whatever you want. All right, now the embedding settings are so you're going to actually send the user's prompt, like I need a recipe for eggnog. You're actually going to send that to a Pinecone model to be embedded, turned into a vector, so it could then compare and match that prompt to your data in your database. And these are the fields that are passed in that Pinecone API, the content type. And I've got default values, but you can make these whatever you want. The timeout, how long you wait for a response, the API version, the embedding model, and you should use the same embedding model that you used for create your Pinecone RAG model, the input type, and truncate various values here. So those are all set up. You can customize those API field values. The next thing are the Pinecone query settings. So when you actually submit that now embedded vector to the Pinecone database, these are your basically your settings related to your custom RAG model on Pinecone, the environment, the index name, the project ID, the namespace. Context chunks is the number of records you want returned. So it'll the 5 highest scoring records, or you can increase that to whatever number you want. The score threshold is the number you set based on the vector matching scores. How high does a record have to score in order to be passed on to OpenAI or not? Then you have the OpenAI settings for which OpenAI model do you want to use. The default I put in here is 4.0 Mini. Of course, they're going to come out with new models in the future. You can change that. And then the system prompt here is when you submit the custom records to OpenAI, first you submit a prompt and you append those records to it. So the default prompt here is you're an expert serving as the helpful AI representative. Your primary role is to answer user questions strictly and exclusively using the information provided in the given context chunks. Now you can make that system prompt whatever you want. fact, you could here I could say you are Santa Claus. Or say here, answer in the style of Santa Claus. Have some fun. Save it. I shouldn't be doing this in production. That's not a good idea. Just change it back, right? Go here. I'm going to refresh my page. And I'm going to go in here. Does Jira have a Kanban board? And I can close this console because I'm not showing you that. There it is. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, indeed, my dear friends. Even has the little Santa Claus and Christmas tree. Merry project managing. So have a little fun with that. Take that off. Save it. Then the temperature. This is the randomness of the responses. That's a variable defined by OpenAI and OpenAI's API, and then the max number of tokens that you want to spend on the response, so it can control your costs. And so those all the configuration settings. And the very nice thing about this is, except for the API keys, all these settings are block specific. So if I create a new web page, insert this block, I can set these settings completely differently for that placement. So I can change the system prompt. I can point it to an entirely different Pinecone database on a separate topic, different topic. So this plugin can be used multiple times within the same website. And those are all the configuration settings. If you have any questions, please reach out to me.